Hi there. I'm so excited to see you back here. Apparently, you have enjoyed learning about the basics, the Practical Reiki basic intro. And you decided to come back for more. So, today is where things really start to get real. This is where we really start to learn the meat and potatoes of Reiki. You're going to learn how to do healings on yourself, healings for other people, healings for your animals, relationships, food, water, plants, you name it. The world is your oyster. So excited to be here. If you are back and you have not read your book, chapters 1 through 5 and chapter 9, as well as completed chapters 1 through 4 in your Practical Reiki workbook, please pause this video and go back and complete those items. That way you'll be really, really ready to get started. So to recap some of the information we talked about in the basic intro, Practical Reiki is a very strong healing method. It's very simple to learn. There's not a lot of detail in the way of symbols and hand positions. By the end of today, if you're an in-class, in-person student, you will receive your attunement and be able to get started with Reiki today. If you're doing this class online, all you'll need to do is fill out your feedback and attunement request, and I will be sending you your attunement at a distance or in person if you're local very shortly. So this is really exciting. Now, if you are already a Reiki practitioner, if you've already done some maybe Usui training, there's various other types of Reiki trainings, that's okay. You can still use Practical Reiki. You can still receive the attunements. This is only going to make your skills stronger. It's going to open up your toolbox for you, have more options. So that's okay. And as I mentioned before, yeah, we'll be able to get going after this level 1 class. So very exciting. So my goals as your master teacher are to teach you and to learn with you too. Just because I have the title of master teacher does not mean that I know everything there is to know about energy healing and Reiki. We are all learning every single day. But, I do want to be here for you. That's another one of my goals. I want to make sure that you feel confident. This is something that may be new to you. So I want you to feel confident going in, starting this new adventure, and feeling good about what you're doing as you start to practice and gain experience. And eventually your confidence will start to increase on your own. The more success stories that you have, the more light you'll have spring in your step when working with Reiki. So I want to ensure your success. I want you to feel really confident right from the very beginning. Attunement. So this is exciting. An attunement means that your master teacher has assisted you in tuning into the Reiki channel so that you will be able to call upon the Reiki energy and guide it via your intentions. An attunement opens up your energy centers. So it's going to open up your crown chakra, which is where the Reiki energy enters from or to. It's also going to help to open up your heart and your palm chakras as well. We have lots and lots and lots of little chakras in our hands and all through our body for that matter, more than we can probably imagine. I think I read somewhere that we have about 1,000 or maybe more than 1,000 chakras throughout our body. So the attunement is also going to help to tune up your intuitive ability to feel and sense energy. So that's one of the reasons why, Alice has developed the workbook, is so that you can start to connect with your clairs and your sensitivities, so that when you do start working with Reiki, you will be able to focus on where you're feeling the energy flowing. So an attunement works by intention. So my intention to attune you and your intention to receive the attunement. And so also by the Reiki energy, doing the Reiki thing that we don't really know exactly how all of that works, honestly. But I do know that it does work. work. After my initial attunement, I could feel the energy very strongly immediately. I even emailed Alice Langholtz, and I told her my hands are buzzing all the time. What is that? I feel like I have spidey senses or superpowers. And she said, well, you do. So that was really fun. But yes, I did feel it often and all the time. Even when I wasn't doing Reiki, I was feeling my hands. I could feel energy. I would go around people and I could sense their energy. I could walk into certain situations and I would feel the energy much differently, much stronger than I ever had before. So get ready. It's going to get fun. So now we're going to talk about the attunement experience itself. If you are doing this class online, then likely you're going to receive your attunement at a distance, and we'll talk a little bit more about distance work in a little bit. But there's not a whole lot that you need to do, but you do want to relax in a quiet place. So take some time to yourself. It's going to take about 35 minutes. So you want to give yourself a little time. And then just rest. It's best, I think, to close your eyes and hold your palms up and just observe what you feel. Palms up, I think, is a good thing to do because that puts us in more of an energetic, receptive position. So when I receive my attunements, that's how I sit. You don't have to do any specific type of meditation or anything. You can open your eyes if you want to, and you just want to notice what you feel. Just pay attention to your senses, your clairs. You might feel swirly energy. You might feel tingles. You might feel temperature changes. Similar to receiving a Reiki healing. It's very similar. You will actually get a healing too, along with your attunement. If you fall asleep, that's okay. The attunement will still work. Sometimes people get super, super, super relaxed, which is one of the beautiful things about Reiki, and they do fall asleep. So that's okay. You will still complete the attunement. So that's about it. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about what to expect after your attunement. So I thought it would be a good idea to talk about what to expect after your attunement so you don't have any surprises. Everyone is going to experience this a little bit differently. If this is your first Reiki attunement, then you are likely going to experience a broadening of your crown chakra, your third eye. So there's going to be a lot of energetic movement. So you may feel that. You might feel a little buzzy, a little tingly. You might feel an extreme sense of peace. You might feel a little lightheaded as this energy is moving through you. And because you are also receiving a pretty deep healing and energetic clearing with your attunement, you may notice some detox symptoms as your body is going through a healing process energetically. And you can also feel this in the physical body as well. So you may feel some light nausea. I don't want to freak anybody out. This is not going to be something that's an extreme, uncomfortable thing, but you might feel a little nauseous or a little kind of seasick, as your body's adjusting. And we're going to talk a little bit about what to do if you do feel some of these sensations. Get outside, get your feet in the dirt, hug a tree, get all wrapped up in nature. That's going to help. If you do feel a little lightheaded or funny after your attunement, getting outside was the thing for me that helped. I drank a big glass of water and I just went outside and sat in the grass and played with my dog. And it took about 5 minutes and I felt, really good after that. So Epsom salts baths, that's another thing you can do to help ground yourself, help ground your energy. Epsom salts baths are also a really good way to detoxify the physical body as well. Eat some root vegetables. Root vegetables that grow below ground can also be very grounding. Beets are red, and which is the color of our root chakra. So sometimes that can really help because our root chakra is part of what grounds us. Carrots are really good too. Sweet potatoes, things like that. You can also do a self-healing on yourself too. So after your attunement, you're going to have the superpowers to be able to do these Reiki healings on yourself. So you can perform a self-healing as well. Again, don't be alarmed. These types of adjustments are fine. They're temporary, and it shouldn't really interfere too much with your day. Make sure just give yourself some love. Get a good night's sleep. Take good care of yourself, and you'll be fine. I promise. So, how do you use Reiki? Now, this is the meat and potatoes. Very simple. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. You turn it on. You tell it what to do, and then you pay attention. So that's the formula. 1, 2, 3, 4, actually. So, how do you turn it on? You can say out loud, or you can think to yourself with intentions. Reiki on, or just Reiki, or Reiki go, whatever feels comfortable and natural for you. But you want to intend for the Reiki to start flowing. And then you set your intention. So you tell it what you'd like it to do. And then you just back off and pay attention to what you're feeling. If you're working with somebody in person, you can put your hands on their shoulders gently. If you're working with somebody at a distance, you can hold your hands like this and just feel the energy flowing. Or if you are working with somebody, you can scan them too. And we'll talk a little bit about that more, which is what I like to do. I like to scan through the chakras and around their body and just notice what I feel. But really, it's as simple as that. So going back to the analogy of the don't push the cab from the basic intro, once you turn it on, tell it what to do, really you just want to pay attention. You don't have to drive that cab. The Reiki energy is going to do what it needs to do. You don't really need to do much more than pay attention. So how do you use Reiki? It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Turn it on, tell it what to do, and pay attention. Because remember, again, it's all about intention and attention. You're going to learn today the healings that you are likely going to use the most. So level 1 healings, we're going to learn self-healing. We're going to learn healing for others. We're going to learn situations quality healing, which is kind of like the wild card. You can pretty much name your intention with the situations quality healing. You're going to learn how to clean a room, so room cleansing. You're going to learn karmic band healing and also distance healing, which is fascinating. There's so much that you can do with all of these healings. Really, the sky's the limit. So self-healing, I love self-healing. I do self-healing every single day. So super easy to do. I encourage you to do this every day as well. All you have to do is just put your hands wherever you feel comfortable. You can put them on your lap if you want to. You can put them on your forehead, on your third eye, on the top of your head, on your chest, wherever you feel comfortable. And follow the formula. So you turn it on. So Reiki on, or Reiki go. You can say this out loud or quietly to yourself or in your head. So you turn it on and you just say self-healing, and the energy will start flowing. Very simple. And then you just want to do, what we talked about before. You just observe. You observe what you feel in your body. You pay attention, check in with your clairs. Sometimes people will feel, or I will feel kind of like swirly energy through me. I can usually feel the energy flowing from my palms. So really just observe what you notice. If you fall asleep, that's okay. It's okay if you fall asleep. The energy will continue to flow and do the self-healing. That's all right. It's actually just fine if you want to do your self-healings at night before you go to bed. You turn it on, and sometimes it helps people to fall asleep. If you're one of those people that have a hard time falling to sleep, self-healing might be a really good remedy for you. It may help you to get into more of a parasympathetic state, fall asleep, and stay asleep throughout the night. So before bed is actually a really great time to do it. I usually do my self-healing first thing in the morning. Self-care. So if you are here and you are learning how to do practical Reiki, you're probably somebody who has a desire to heal either themselves or other people or be a healing facilitator. So it's really important for the healer to take care of themselves too. And I'm guilty of this as charged. But self-healing is a very good way to care for yourself. If you're going to work with other people, if you are going to be a practitioner, or if you are a healing practitioner already in some wide range of modalities, there's a lot of different types of healing work people do. It's really, really important for you to take care of yourself and do these self-healings. It's going to make you a stronger practitioner. It will help to improve your energy and the outcomes with your clients. I always say, you can't give what you don't have. If you're exhausted and burnt out, the quality of the care that you're going to give to other people is not going to be as bright and efficient as it can be when you're strong and healthy. So these self-healings will help to strengthen your body, your energy, your immune system. I have a group of friends that we'd like to get together every week as light workers, healers, and in the last couple of weeks we haven't been able to get together because somebody's been sick. So it's come to my attention that I need to attune my friends so we can hang out more. They need to be able to do these self-healings to keep their immune system strong so that they're not suffering from colds and things like that might be contagious. So really it has helped my immune system a lot. I'm somebody who has chronic Lyme disease. And, since I started working with Reiki and doing my self-healings every day, I can tell how much better I feel. I don't feel like I'm, have the flares every once in a while like I used to get here and there. A lot of the symptoms I'm not even noticing anymore. So this is a big deal, the self-care. So my challenge to you is for the next 30 days, run a self-healing, at least one self-healing every day for 30 days. And journal, log down what you notice, pay attention, write down every day. Anything that you notice, if you have more healing or energy, or if you slept better, if you had more patience with your kids, or whatever it is, just write down. And then at the end of 30 days, go back and just review everything and notice. My lady who cuts my hair noticed for me that, I get my hair cut every 3 months to the date we have it scheduled, that my hair grew a lot. It was like 4 or 5 inches, which is crazy. Your hair doesn't grow that much in 3 months normally. But so she asked me, she's like, what are you doing? You must be really healthy if your hair's growing like this. So self-care, do this. This is important. So here's a really cool exercise that you can do. This is really a helpful thing when you're first learning, because you can practice on yourself. It's good to practice on yourself. So what you do is basically you turn the Reiki on, so Reiki on, and you can intend for your self-healing. And then what I want you to do is just kind of notice what you feel between your hands. Notice if you feel energy flowing, if you feel some tension or resistance, just whatever it is that you feel, just notice. And you can kind of move your hands around each other like this. And then I like to move my hands around my body. So I'll put my hands over my third eye chakra and just kind of notice what you feel there. And then up on the top of your head, over your heart. So just kind of, spend, 20, 30 seconds in each spot and just feel what you feel. That's going to help you to understand how you experience energy. So when you're doing healings for other people, it'll help you to tune in to what's going on, what you're feeling. One of the things that I learned doing this exercise on myself was that I noticed that I could feel my aura. And then when I started to pay attention as I was doing healings on other people, I realized that I could feel theirs too. So that was a really, really cool experience. So definitely practice on yourself. Okay, so healings for others. This is where it gets really fun. So when you're working with another person, you use the exact same formula. Reiki on, you tell it what to do, and then you gently observe. So when I'm working with somebody, I like to ask them first of all if they've ever experienced a Reiki healing before, and give them a little insight if they haven't, on what they may notice. You know, they may feel tingles, they may feel temperature changes, they may fall asleep, they may see colors. So that way they're comfortable and they're not nervous, not knowing what to expect. Sometimes when you do something new, it can be a little. Sometimes you can feel a little nervous at first. So I like to make them as comfortable as possible. Now, remember, in practical Reiki, hand positions are not important. We're not using symbols or anything like that. So, and also, if you remember from the basic intro, we talked about this. You're not the healer. The Reiki energy and the person you are working with is really the healer. The person's body has its own default healing programs. The Reiki energy is assisting with those healing processes. So, now you're going to set intentions. So you obviously will have a conversation with the person you're working with, whether it's somebody you know or a client. So you'll know what their intentions are or what their concerns are. And then, you can kind of feel a little bit confident too. 'Cause sometimes we don't know. Somebody might have a situation going on, an area of pain. We don't know exactly what is causing that issue all of the time. If it's, an immune issue or digestion issue, if it's more in the physical body, it may be more of an energy imbalance in their deep energy. So we don't always know exactly what the root cause of someone's health concern is. So the energy will be used in the way that it is needed. The person's higher self is going to be watching and paying attention and assisting in this healing. That energy is going to go exactly where it's needed. So, in a way, you can feel a little bit more confident that you really can't do it wrong. So, what to do with those hands? So, you're working with someone and you're giving them a Reiki healing, and you're wondering, okay, well, what do I do with my hands? Really, there are no hand positions in practical Reiki. I know we've said that ad nauseum. So I really like to scan my clients. I usually don't put my hands directly on people. I like the hover method. I like to just get close to them, maybe an inch or two away, and just notice what I feel in their aura or in their energy fields. A lot of times, if you are touching, you're putting your hands on, you're feeling skin or clothing or hair. And so it's kind of hard to differentiate between what you're feeling energetically and what you're feeling in more of a tactile sense. So hovering for me is really great. And I just try to let my intuition guide me, especially when I was first getting started. I just kind of followed the flow wherever I felt like I needed to pay attention. If you're working with somebody who has a headache, you may want to pay more attention to their third eye or maybe even their crown chakra and notice what you feel in that area. The third eye chakra is usually felt very strongly by people. I know even when I give myself Reiki, I can feel that very strongly. Most people tell me that they can feel when my hand is here, they can feel the energy flowing very strongly. So sometimes that's a nice place to start because that really kind of gets them into what's going on, and they're feeling it, and they're feeling good about it. Scanning, we're going to talk about scanning in a minute. I like to scan my clients' chakras. And I like to pay attention to the chakras that I feel like after having the conversation with my client, where I feel like they may be having the most or needing the most attention. So we'll continue that conversation. Practice, practice, practice. Find someone that loves you. Find friends. Anybody who has an ache or a pain, or if they talk to you about their sore shoulder, offer to give them Reiki. The more practice you do, the better and the stronger you're going to get. The more strongly your intuitions are going to get. The more strongly your connection to your clairs and your relationship with your clairs is going to get. And, at first it can be a little scary, when you're doing something new, but just tell your friend, tell your family member or your client, whoever you're working with, I'm new. And I'm trying to gain some practice, and let them know that. And so that way they first of all, they know that this is a new thing for you. And so the expectations are exactly where they should be. This is practice. And then you can reassure them, even though I am new, your higher self is going to take this energy and utilize it for the highest and best good for yourself. So again, you can't do it wrong. So this is an illustration that I put here because it's kind of how I do my Reiki healings in my office, because I do other energy work. I do have a table in my office, so I normally will have my client lay down and relax, and again, just explain the process to them. And so I put these the little glowy balls there to represent the chakras. I do a method of questioning where I will ask the person's energy where we need to pay the most attention, and I will go to that chakra during the healing, and that's where I will focus a lot of the attention there. It doesn't matter. You don't have to do it this way, but it is kind of nice because if you start to learn a little bit more about the chakras and you're over someone's solar plexus and you're feeling a lot of tingles or a lot of heat coming off there, or you can feel their energy pressing kind of up into your hand, you can have that conversation with them and say, yeah, I really felt a lot going on in your solar plexus chakra. They may explain to you about, being in a relationship or at a job or something where maybe they don't feel like their self-worth. They may be questioning their own self-worth and feeling not confident in that area. Maybe that person has a lot of reflux or upper GI issues. So you may connect that to what you're feeling in that area. Situations, qualities, healings. So this is probably the type of healing you will likely use the most. So it has to do with specific concerns for yourself or the person that you're working with, or animal or plant. So you can really name your intention with the situations quality healing. So this will cover specific areas of concern. So say Johnny comes into your office and he has a really painful knee, and it's swollen and it hurts. And so you can initiate or intend a situations quality healing. So basically what you would do is say Reiki on, and this is a healing for pain relief and rapid healing of Johnny's knee. And that's it. And so the healing will start and you do what you do, and just pay attention. So gently observe. So in this case, I would pay a lot of attention to the actual knee. So I would have my hands probably on either side of his knee to start with and notice what happens there. And then just kind of move around the knee. And just pay attention, see what you feel. If you feel tingles or heat or whatever it is that you feel. And then, so now also with the situations quality healing, the situations part of it. So this is interesting. You can send Reiki to a situation. It doesn't have to be for a physical or personal health concern. If you have a job interview, or if your sister has a job interview or a test that she has to take, and she's nervous or she's excited, and you can actually send Reiki to that situation. So you could intend Reiki on, and you can say this is a situations quality healing for Susie's job interview to go as good as it can go if it is for the highest and best. And you can send that energy off to her job interview to help her along, or maybe to help her with confidence. So it could be a situations quality healing for Susie to have confidence in her job interview. This is one of the things I love about Reiki. It's the sky's the limit. You can use Reiki for so many different things. If you're going on a long car trip, you can send a situations quality healing for a safe journey to your destination. So there's a lot of different ways that you can use this. Now, the healing that is needed. So this is a type of situations quality healing that kind of covers all the bases. So if somebody comes in and they tell you that they just feel awful, they don't really know what's going on, they have no energy, they don't have any one specific pinpoint issue that they have to tell you about. They just don't feel good. And you're not really sure what to intend. You can use the healing that is needed. So you intend Reiki on and the healing that is needed for Susie at this time. And the energy will be used in the way that is needed for her highest and best good. So you can kind of cover all the bases that way, and you don't have to worry. You're not going to hurt anybody with Reiki. You can feel confident and know that the person's energy body is going to accept this and utilize it in the way that it is needed. Okay, so here are some examples that you can use for situations quality healing. So relieve pain, that's a great one. You'll probably use that a lot. If you wake up in the morning and your back hurts, you'll probably want to give yourself Reiki to relieve pain of your sore back. There's a lot of opportunities to use this one in life. Peace of mind or more joy. So one of the things that I like to try to do when I am setting examples is I try to keep them positive. So if your friend Johnny has really horrible acid reflux and he's like, can you help me with this? Can you do that Reiki thing and help me with my reflux? You don't want to set your intentions for Reiki on for his horrible acid reflux to go away. That sounds kind of negative. So instead, you could say for relief from digestive distress and improved digestive capacity or something like that. So you want to keep it positive. If somebody's got a lot of maybe depression or anxiety going on and you're working with them for that reason, instead of saying Reiki for, Bonnie's anxiety, I may say for peace of mind and calmness of heart or something like that. So try to keep it more positive. For me, if I can't sleep at night, if I wake up in the middle of the night and have a hard time falling back to sleep, I'll do Reiki healing, and my intention will be for restful and rejuvenating sleep. So you could also do for healing of a wound, better mental focus or more confidence, maybe for situations quality healing. That might be a good one. Again, you can always use the healing that is needed if you're not sure. So something I think is really important to talk about right off the bat is that we do not diagnose any medical conditions, nor do we treat medical conditions. So be very careful about that, especially when you are when you're performing a healing or facilitating a healing, and you notice something over somebody's heart. You feel a lot of energy over their heart. You don't say, oh gosh, I think you have heart disease, and scare the person and tell them that there's something wrong. We don't know that. We can just say, I was in your heart chakra and I did notice that you were accepting a lot of energy in this area. So you want to be really, really careful. If you've worked with this person multiple times and every time you do the healing, you continue to feel something going on over the heart, you might gently want to suggest or ask, have you had your yearly checkup? And you don't want to scare the person. So you want to be very, very careful and use bedside manners. But if it is something that you yourself feel like it's important for that person, you can gently suggest, well, if you haven't had your yearly checkup, it might be a good idea to go in. I've just noticed some imbalances or some repetitive things in your energy. And, you just always want to kind of rule out anything. And it's important to keep tabs on your health anyway. So you can find a very nice way of imparting that consideration or that thought that you've got. Now, another thing that you can do, and that I really like to do because I do very much treasure and honor the ability to work with the Reiki energy. So I like to always give gratitude when I'm doing a healing for someone, and I usually include that where I am setting the intentions. And so I will ask permission and assistance from the person's higher self guides. And if you feel comfortable with this, you can include angels, if that's okay with you. If not, you don't have to do that. And then I always say in gratitude, or I will say, and thank you so much for the ability to be able to be a part of this healing situation, or whatever feels comfortable to you. And I usually do this in my head. I don't say it out loud normally. Energy, when you're working with energy, telepathy is okay. You don't have to say things out loud, which is why you can intend for Reiki on without saying it verbally. You can say it to yourself quietly in your mind. It will still work. So anyway, I feel like that's it. It improves the quality of the experience for myself, for the person that you're working with, and it's always good to be grateful. We are all part of this energetic world together as one. So I think if we honor that, it just makes things more light. And then also, you want to really use your workbook. You've got this workbook. It's fantastic. It will give you ideas for healings. It will kind of help to remind you of things, or give you ideas or things that you might not have considered, like giving Reiki to your Band-Aid. That's one of the observations or headings here in the book, or Reiki to your vitamins and medications to make them of the highest quality and compatible to your body. So really use the workbook, write down your experiences. It's so nice to go back, after you've been practicing for a while, and review all of the things that you've done, and the experiences that you've had and the successes that you've had. It really helps to build confidence, and it helps you to grow as a practitioner. There are always new things, new ideas that I get almost every day. I have a new exciting idea of how I can use Reiki. So it really kind of helps to support that. So questioning, this is more of an advanced method, and we're not going to go into major detail with this today. But if you are somebody who works with a pendulum, or maybe you work with muscle testing, kinesiology, I'm trained in Acmos energy balancing, so I use an Acmos Lecker antenna to communicate with the person's energy body or higher self. So using these methods, you can a lot of times get yes or no answers to questions that you have. And so you can ask questions. You can ask, should we do a situations quality healing today, and see if you get a response, a yes or a no response. You can question the type of healing, if this is going to be a karmic band healing, or maybe a birth trauma healing, or crystalline healing today, and see what types of responses that you can get. So this is a really nice way to also help to create a person's program. So you can ask, how many sessions are we going to need to really get to the bottom of the things that we're trying to accomplish with this person. So there's just so many ways that you can gain information this way, and help to really customize the Reiki healings to what needs to happen for that person for the highest and best good. You can also use your intuition, use your clairs. If you're somebody who has very strong claircognizance, or maybe you have psychic abilities, pay attention to those. You might receive information that says, wow, we really need to focus on this is an emotional trauma from this person from when they were 5 years old. And, we're going to need to do some crystalline healings to help to resolve that. And it's going to take, maybe so many sessions and different types of sessions to really clear this negativity that's affecting this person in a physical way. So definitely use your tools. Use your tools. Reiki is great to combine with other healing methods. So you pull out your toolbox. Use whatever you got. So I talked a little bit about using your workbook to get ideas. There's a whole list of ideas for how you can use Reiki in your day. So you can give Reiki to your food, or your water, or your coffee, or your plants. I'll tell you what, animals love Reiki. They love it. I give Reiki to my dog all the time. So just a quick story. He came into the office one morning. I was sitting having my coffee, checking my emails, and he came in and he had hiccups. This was my dog Loki. And he came in and he's like, so I turned the Reiki on for relief for Loki's hiccups, and within 10 seconds, they went away. A couple days later, he came back into the office in the morning, same situation with the hiccups. And so I turned on the Reiki for relief for Loki's hiccups, and they went away. So animals are very, very, very sensitive to Reiki. If I ever feel like he's not feeling good, I will give, because you can't communicate well, you can, some people can, but when your dog doesn't feel good, but you don't always know exactly why they don't feel good or why they're a little off that day. So you can just intend for the healing that is needed for your dog or for your cat or for your pet snake or whatever animal that you're working with. And they definitely can feel it. You'll get some feedback from them for sure. Plants, I have given Reiki to our pepper plants at home and noticed that they started to grow a little faster after getting eaten by the deer in the neighborhood. So you can also give Reiki to your water or to food, and pay attention to that too. So have a sip of your water first to kind of establish a baseline, and then give Reiki to your water. So you can turn on Reiki on to improve the quality and taste and nourishment for hydration for my water. And then take a sip after you've given it Reiki, let it flow for maybe 30 seconds, something like that, and taste it again and see if you notice a change in the flavor or a change in how you feel, or if you feel more hydrated. Maybe you're running to the bathroom less because you're absorbing more of the water. Water, we talked about water in the last the basic intro. Water carries information. So if you're sending Reiki energetic information to water or a fluid that you're drinking, you're going to be accepting that into your body in a different type of way. So I think it's a very good thing to do. So practice. You can give Reiki to your pillow if you have a hard time sleeping at night. I've done that. Give Reiki to my pillow or the mattress. So really, the sky's the limit. Just get creative and start practicing and record your experiences. Distance healings are super cool. So distance healings, this is just going to expand the options that you have even more. So distance healings can be a little bit difficult to wrap your head around if this is not something that you've experienced or thought about before. But I do distance healings a lot. And I've had some amazing experiences with distance healings. My attunements were given to me via a distance healing or a distance attunement, which I felt very strongly and was able to use Reiki afterwards. So I know that that works. I do my Atmos energy balances. I balance a lot of people at a distance. My personal energy balances are done from a gentleman who lives in the south of France, and he balances me as I sleep in my bed on the southeast coast, Bluffton, South Carolina. So time and space are an illusion. We are all connected energetically and holographically. So you can send a healing to someone and it will be just as efficient as if they were sitting next to you, laying on your massage table or sitting in your living room. It does work. So one of the things that I do in Atmos, I measure, I can set the antenna at different frequencies. 1.1 on the antenna, I don't know if you can see that, is actually the sacred human unity frequency. It is a frequency that connects us all as humans. So that's something that I can actually measure, which is very cool. So if you're going to do a distance healing for somebody, it's very important that you ask permission. If they are in front of you or with you, they're asking you for help and it is implied they're in your office, maybe they're paying you. So you have permission, but at a distance, you have to be careful with that. You have to get permission from the person. You can do this in very different ways, which is really cool. So you've got a lot of control over the way the healing is going to be sent. So there's a few different ways you can set up the healing, and you can send it in real time. So if my husband is at work and he's got an upset stomach, and he's like, "Hey babe, can you send me some Reiki for my tummy ache?" I can turn the Reiki on and intend for relief of Roman's stomach ache, and it will go to him right now in real time. And so that's the first way you can do it. Now, if you want to send Reiki to someone, and maybe this is a situations healing. So Roman is going out on a showing with a client. He works in real estate, so he shows properties. So he's out showing property, and he is really hopeful that this person is going to love this house. He thinks it's a really good house for the person. And, so I can set a healing or send a healing to that showing. I don't know what time they're going to get to that house that day. So what I can do is set up the Reiki healing as a preset. So I can say Reiki on for the showing of Roman's client to start at the time they arrive at a specific address. And so the energy will start to flow as soon as they get to that house. I don't have to be sitting here waiting for him to call me. "Are you there yet? Are you there yet? Are you there yet?" And wait for me to send the healing. No, I can just tell it to start, and it will automatically start when they arrive at that particular house. So it's kind of like a coffee maker. You can set some coffee makers to start at a certain time in the morning, so that by the time you wake up, the coffee has already been brewed and it's ready to go. So you can set your coffee timer to start at 6 a.m. You wake up at 6:30, coffee's ready to go. So that's like a preset. That is a preset distance healing. The type of distance healing I use the most is cued. And so cued healing is kind of like your DVR. You set it up and you send it out there. So you do the healing just as if you were going to do a real-time healing. So for Roman's stomach ache, this is Reiki healing for relief from stomach pain for Roman, but I want him to have control over when it starts. So I'm going to say this is to be cued for Roman when he is ready to receive it. So the energy will flow. It will flow to Roman, and it will sit kind of like a little package of energy in his energy fields or his quantum field. And it will just hang out there until Roman turns it on. So he has to act for it to turn on. He has to tell it to turn on. And so when Roman is ready, he will sit in a quiet place and relax, and he will say out loud or think to himself, "I am ready to receive the Reiki healing sent by Hollie," and boom, that will turn on the energy flow. So it will start to flow to him at that moment when he is ready. So that's a nice way to do it, because that way the person has more control. They can choose the time of day when they can receive it and actually experience the healing. It's one thing to just have the energy flow to somebody. If they're busy, they're not really paying attention, it's going to be harder for you to get feedback from that person. So you really want them focused, paying attention, so they can really experience the healing and be able to give you feedback on how they felt, what they noticed, what they experienced. So the cued healings really give you a lot of flexibility too, as far as organizing your work and setting up your day, because you can kind of decide when you have time to set up the healing and send to someone, and then they can get it whenever they're ready. So the cued healings are very, very cool. Okay, so here are the steps on how to do a distance healing. So same formula as before, 1, 2, 3, you turn the Reiki on, you tell it what to do, and you observe. Except for distance healings, there's one additional step. So there's 4 steps in a distance healing. First, you turn the Reiki on. Second, you intend who it's for. So when you're doing a distance healing, it's very important to get very clear on who you're intending this energy to go to. If it's for my husband or if it's for Bonnie's son, Bubba Joe, you really want to intend where you want that energy to go. If you don't know Bubba Joe's name, and Bonnie, she's your friend, she's your client, and she said, well, my son, he broke his arm today and we're on our way to the doctor. They're going to set the bone and put the cast on. And, he's in a lot of pain. And I was hoping you could send him a healing for, quick recovery and pain relief. And can you send it to my son? And she doesn't tell you his name because she's flustered. Her son just broke his arm, and that's kind of stressful. And so you can intend for the healing to go to Bonnie Joe's son after his doctor's appointment. So the energy will get to Bubba Joe, even if you don't know his name. So really doing the best you can to intend for the person that the energy needs to go to. As long as you know who it needs to go to, it'll get there. And then you want to identify the type of healing. Is it going to be, for pain relief? Is it a karmic band healing? What type of healing are you doing? So you want to specify that. And then you want to specify if this is going to be a preset or cued healing. And we talked about the difference between those. So you could say Reiki on. This is a healing for Bonnie's son. And I want to preset this healing for after his doctor's appointment. And we're going to talk about that in the next slide. Timing is sometimes important when you're sending healings. So we want this healing to start after his doctor's appointment. So if you intend preset, then it's going to start directly after the appointment, but not before. If you intend it for cued, then Bubba Joe and Bonnie can have more control over when that healing is going to start. It goes out, it will sit in Bubba Joe's energy field until they are ready for it to start. So now when you are doing a distance healing, you want to make sure that you explain to the person how to receive it, especially if it's going to be a cued healing. They need the instructions. And so I always tell my clients to, when they're ready, to relax in a quiet place where they have about 5 to 10 minutes to themselves without interruption, phones out of the room or turn them off. Just go relax in a quiet place and not while you're driving. Don't do it while you're driving. Relax in a quiet place. And then if it's acute healing, tell them to intend for Reiki on, or for the healing to be, I'm now ready to receive the healing sent by Hollie, is usually what I ask them to either say out loud or think inside of their mind when they're ready for that energy to flow. So you have to give them instructions. And then what do you do? So when you're setting up a distance healing, what do you do with your hands? So there are different options. You could just hold your hands like this together and notice the energy flow. And you can do that for 5 to 7 minutes or however long it takes. It usually takes, for me, it's usually 5 to 7 minutes from start to stop. You can just notice what you feel. If you feel tingles or heat or the energy pressure or aura, or if you maybe see colors or a vision in your mind, however you experience the healings, everyone is different. Or you could scan the person. So you could imagine that the person is in the room with you, and you can shrink them into a tiny little version of themselves. And you can literally scan them as if they were in front of you, the little miniature version of themselves. And you can scan their head. You can feel their crown chakra. You could feel their little mini throat chakra, their little mini heart chakra. You can turn them sideways if you want and do kind of like a little miniature in-person healing. Sometimes for me, what I'll do is actually imagine that the person is laying on my massage table as if they were here in, real life. And I will scan them just the same as I would as if they were in person. And I can feel the person's energy on the table. It is really kind of a trippy experience that I can feel the chakras. I can feel where the energy changes. I can feel where it's being accepted. I can feel the pressure of their aura, sort of filling in and building and becoming more vibrant through the course of the healing. And then you can, take notes and obviously be able to say, hey, this is what I experienced. How did you feel? Did you also feel the tingling in the throat chakra? And have you had a little bit of a hard time lately, maybe communicating with your husband or your children? And so that way it brings validity to the healing, so they know that you were there, you did the healing, you guys were experiencing the same thing, and you can have a conversation about it. So, and then of course you want to ask for feedback. It's important to get feedback from your clients. You want to know how this work is being received. You want to know if they're experiencing relief, and you want that feedback for your own confidence too, because the more you can reflect or have that reflection back of the work you're doing, the more you're going to be excited, and the more confidence that you're going to have going forward. So that's the basics on distance healing. So these are some considerations for timing when you're doing a distance healing. So if your child is sick and you're going to go to the doctor and you don't know what's wrong, it's oftentimes a really good idea to wait until you get done with your doctor's appointment to give your child the healing, because you want the doctor to see the fever or the symptom or the sore throat or the redness or the cough so that they can efficiently diagnose and treat the condition. Then you can do the healing after that. I read a story recently about a gentleman who cut his finger off on a table saw, and he found the finger, put it on ice, and rushed to the emergency room to hopefully have it reattached and fix the wound. And on the way to the emergency room, he gave himself a Reiki healing. By the time he got there, when the surgeon was ready to try to do the operation, he asked the gentleman, he's like, well, why did you wait so long to bring the finger here? We can't reattach it because it's already healed too much. So the Reiki healing sped up the healing to the point so much that the nerves and the tissues already started healing. They weren't able to reconnect the finger. And then in the story that we went through about Bonnie and Bubba Joe's son who broke his arm in the last slide, one of the reasons why you want to wait until after Bubba Joe goes to the doctor, gets his bones set and the cast on, is because you don't want to send a healing and initiate healing of the bone before it has been set, if it needs to be set. Once that bone starts healing, who knows, they may have to re-break it to set it. So you want to pay a little bit of attention to timing with that. So let them go to the doctor, get the bone set, get the cast on, then you can send the healing for pain relief and rapid healing of the boo-boo. So just some considerations. My mom recently took a little stumble on her stairs coming from the mailbox, and she fell down and she hurt her wrist, and it was she was in a lot of pain. And so she was going to go to the doctor. So I told her, well, you go to the doctor, have the x-ray, see what's going on. And then when you're done and you have your diagnosis, then I'll send you the healing. And so it turns out she just sprained it real bad. So when she got home, I sent her a healing for her hand, and the pain went away. So that was good. But we wanted to wait until we were sure that she didn't have a break in there that needed to be set. If you have a bad cut and it appears that you're going to need stitches, you want to put pressure on that cut. You want to get attention as soon as possible. And then once the stitches are in place, then set up the healing for rapid healing or pain relief, whatever you're doing. So those are just some considerations as far as timing goes. Okay, now we're going to talk about cover your butt healings. So what this means is if you really feel like you want to send Reiki to someone or a situation and you don't have permission, but you really think that you want to help and that it could help, you can intend Reiki on. And for a situation, say someone, you see someone get in a bad accident, they're being rushed to the hospital, and you really want to try to help if you can. You can send the healing with the caveat that if you can say, I would like to send Reiki healing for the best possible outcome for the person that was involved in this accident if it is approved by the person's higher self. If it is for the highest and best good to be received. And if not, you can say, I would like, if it's not to be received, then that energy can go back to the earth or to the universe or to your headache. So you give it an option there. So sometimes healings, sometimes the situation, it shouldn't be healed. Sometimes, if somebody gets in a car accident, it could be that it was really that person's time to go. And you don't want to interfere with the path of their life experience. So there could be situations where it seems like, yeah, you want to help and you really want this healing and you want this person to survive their injuries, but you don't really know what's going on in their life experience or their plan, and this might actually be their time. So it's not up to you to interfere with that. So if you say, if it is appropriate or in this person's highest and best good to receive the energy to be used, the healing that is needed, that is kind of a cover your butt way to do it. So same situation, if you want to send a healing to a place, maybe there was a natural disaster that happened and there was an earthquake and you want to send a healing for the people in that area, you can do a similar cover your butt healing. You can send the energy to the situation for if it is in the highest and best good and for the energy to be used for the benefit of the situation, if it is to be done. So those are some ways that you can try to help when you don't have exact permission. You're still asking permission of the person's higher self or the energy that is, kind of watching over a certain situation, and that gives them the opportunity to either accept it, use it, or to deflect it, or for it to be not used. So we all probably wish the best for our planet and humanity. I do. So if you feel so inclined and you would like to send Reiki for more love and peace for the entire planet, you can do this. But you want to refer back to the rules of the previous slide, and add that little disclosure onto the end, if it is for the highest and best good. Maybe the world is going through a certain change at that point in time where, unfortunately, peace and love, that's not really where the energy needs to go at that time, because we're going through a healing crisis or something like that. So you can send that energy up, but you always say if it is to be used for the highest and best good. And if not, it will simply be rejected. Now, if you have your antenna, your Acmos antenna, or your pendulum, or you do your muscle testing or bio testing, you can question the universe. You can ask, I would really like to send this healing. Can I? May I? And should I send a Reiki healing for love and peace for the planet? And see if you get a yes or a no. If you get a no, then you can ask, well, should I do this at another time? Maybe this particular moment in time is not the right time to do it. And if you get a yes, you can ask, well, when? Days from now, weeks from now, months from now. And if you just get no's all across the board, then it's not your time and place to send that energy. You just kind of have to use discretion, and just be careful of how you say if the planet is not ready for that energy, or if it's not to be used, it will be rejected. So I don't think you can do a lot of harm, but you still want to use respect. So, cleansing a room, this is a really good thing to do, especially when you are first getting started out with Reiki. You can go around and practice cleaning your rooms and your kitchen or your bedroom, and just kind of notice what you experience in those rooms. If you notice that maybe somebody um, becomes a little more happy in the room when they walk into the room. They're smiling, they feel lighter of spirits, or you do a Reiki healing for your kitchen, and you that night you just cook the most amazing dinner and have the best conversations, and everyone's happy sharing their day. Or if you do a cleansing for your bedroom, notice if you sleep better, or if you have better dreams, or if you have a bad dream, or maybe an argument in a room, and it just leaves kind of some icky energy behind. That may be a good time to do a room cleansing. So it's kind of like saging the space in a way. It clears the negative energy out of that room and helps to create more of a balance. So with cleansing a room, 1, 2, 3, that's your formula. You turn it on, you tell it what to do, you designate the room. So Reiki on, and this is a cleansing for my office where I do my Reiki healings and Atmos energy balances, and the energy will start to flow. Some good ideas about, different places that you might want to cleanse. I just mentioned if you've, maybe had an argument or a bad dream, but a new home, moving into a new home where people lived before you can do a cleansing, and you can go into each individual room if you want to help clear the energy from the people that live there. Maybe you don't probably didn't really know them very well. You don't know what types of interactions they had in those rooms or experiences. So it's nice to clear the energy so that you can make the space your own. Another place where you might do a cleansing is a hospital room. A lot goes on in hospital rooms. Usually when people have to go to the hospital, a lot of times when they have to go to the hospital, it's not because they want to be there, unless you're having a baby or something like that, then it's a beautiful, wonderful experience, hopefully. But a lot of times people are in pain, or may even not survive their injuries. So it can be a very emotional and in some cases, trauma. There could be a lot of trauma left in the room. So a hospital room might be a good place to do a Reiki room cleansing. A new car. It could be a new car or a used car. It's nice to cleanse the energy. You're not, you don't know probably the person that owned the car before you. Maybe you do, and maybe that makes you want to cleanse it even more. Or the mechanic or whoever was putting the car together may have had a bad day and left some energetic residue in the car. So new car, new job. If you get a new job and you kind of want to get acclimated into there, you may have some negative energy left over from the person that worked there before you. Or if there was energy left over from clients or customers that come through a lot. There's, sometimes you work in a busy place where there's a lot of energy coming and going throughout the day. So it's a good idea to cleanse those spaces every once in a while. So room cleansing, I do this a lot. So this is another tool in your toolkit. Okay, so karmic band healing. Karmic band healings are one of my favorite healings because I've had so many cool experiences with the karmic band healings. So what this means is that you are sending Reiki energy to heal the energy of a relationship between two people. You're not sending the energy to the people directly, but to the energetic karmic entanglement of the relationship. So this is one healing where you don't need permission because you're not sending the energy to the people themselves. So you can do this at will. I have seen things like I sent a karmic band healing between me and another person who I thought I would never see or hear from that person ever again. That person was going through a very difficult time in their life, and it appeared to me that they may not overcome it. It was a very sad situation. So I sent this healing when I first got started with Practical Reiki, because it's in your workbook. It's something that you will be practicing with. And so I sent it out and I said, I'm going to do this. And if I get something back from this, if I hear from this person or see that they're doing better, I'm a believer. And sure enough, 3 weeks later, I get this string of pictures and communication opens up with this person. The person is doing better. They're healing. They're on the right road. Amazing things were happening. And so that changed my life and really I already believed in Reiki, but this just sealed the deal for me. I sent a karmic band healing between a couple that were kind of having a little bit of a hard time. They were at each other's throats a lot, and it was kind of sad to see. And so I sent this healing to their relationship. And the very next time I saw them, they were kissing and hugging and holding hands and smiling and talking about how grateful they were for each other. So yeah, these are very interesting types of healings, because you never really know what's going to happen. You never know what you're going to experience from that. So a karmic band healing can be done between you and another person. It can be done between two other people. It can also be done between you and someone who is on the spirit realm, someone who has passed away, or between another person and someone who has passed away. So the healing will only be used if it is for the highest and best good of all of those involved. That's by default, but when you send the healing, it is also good to say those words again. If this is for the highest and best good for all that are involved. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be able to facilitate this healing. So that's kind of how I would set that up. So that's your karmic band healing, and we're going to move on to the next slide. Okay, so how many sessions do you recommend to your clients or your friends or whoever it is you're working with? And it's going to be probably custom, different for everybody. It really just depends on what the person is looking to achieve, or if they've had a complicated issue that's been going on for a really long time, or a chronic infection. If they've got chronic fatigue syndrome, Lyme disease, maybe an autoimmune condition, those types of ongoing chronic things, typically I would recommend more sessions, a package of 5 or 10 or more. A lot of times people will start with a 5-session package because it gives them enough experience and feedback and healing to either believe that, hey, this is something for me or not. But it really gives it a good shot. And then if they do experience improvement, then more than likely they're going to want to keep going. So they'll maybe upgrade to a 10-session package or more. But yeah, 5 sessions is probably the most common package that I do. A lot of times I'll do 1 session just so they can experience it and see if it feels good to them. Most of the time they love it and they want to upgrade. And so I just roll them into a 5-session package or a 10-session package. Usually what I will do on the first session, I call it the Reiki planning session. So we will talk about what's going on in their life, what's going on with their health, what's going on emotionally, mentally or spiritually. And I will make notes and come up with a list and try to see, okay, well, which types of healings do I have in my toolbox that I think are going to help this person the most? And we'll come up with a session by session plan. The first session, we may do a karmic band healing or a room cleansing or a situations quality healing for an acute pain that they're experiencing that's really bothering them. So we'll get our plan together in that first session and do a healing in that session. So that first session usually it's the longest session. It usually takes a little bit more time. So if you do use a questioning tool, like we talked about, muscle testing or an antenna or a pendulum, you can ask, how many sessions should we do with this person? Up to 5, up to 10, 1, 2, 3, which types of sessions? So you can also get some information that way. That's how I do it. You don't have to do it that way. That's something that I'll probably do another training session on questioning, because I do find that it can be very helpful and take some of the guesswork out of it. You want to really pay attention to feedback. I know I keep talking about feedback, but it is so important. If you do a particular type of session or a type of healing on someone and the feedback they get, is, oh, wow, I felt amazing. I didn't feel any pain in my knee today and I slept so good. Can we do another session like that? Sure, do it. So even, just because you have a plan and you have your 5 sessions or 10 sessions planned out doesn't mean that you can make changes. Sometimes as people's energy heals and shifts, so will their needs. So will their symptoms. As maybe one symptom might improve enough to where that session they don't feel like that's that important anymore, and they want to work on something else. So listen to your clients, and you will figure it out. If you are somebody that has clear cognizance or psychic, whatever you feel, you may see the number 5 pop in your head and you're like, okay, we need 5 sessions to get you on the right track. So you will figure it out. Everyone will have their own process for this. Okay, so ethics. This is very important. We've talked about this before, but it is very important to always ask permission, except for karmic band healing. And we talked about the cover your butt healings. But you always, any other time, you really need to ask permission. We talked about Bonnie and Bubba Joe, her son. So if it is for a child, you always need to get parental permission, or whoever is responsible for that child, before you do a healing on that child. It's very important. There could be situations where people just do not want a Reiki healing. They don't want Reiki. So especially, because now we have the ability to do these distance healings, you just don't want to go off shooting healings for people left and right. You need to get permission. Do not send a healing to the President of the United States or another country because you think that it might make the world a better place, unless they give you permission. So you've got to give permission first. Somebody might be actually receiving benefit from a health condition or something, a pain or a disability that they have, that might be serving them in their life at this point, and they're not ready to let go of that. They aren't ready to heal from that just yet. They may be getting some sort of attention from that situation that they are benefiting from. So really, as strange as it might sound, not everybody wants to heal. So we have to respect everyone's space and their own wishes. We do not diagnose or treat medical conditions ever, 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 ever. If you suspect that there's something going on with somebody, you want to be very careful about how you impart that information to them. You don't want to freak anybody out. If you have worked with a client who had stomach cancer and you noticed a certain sensation, it was very, very clear that that's what that was, and then you go work with somebody else and you feel the same thing, you don't want to say, oh my gosh, I have a client with stomach cancer and this feels just like that. You probably have cancer and you need to run to the doctor right now. That's going to freak people out. You do not do that ever. You can just simply say, hey, we've had a couple of sessions here, and I keep noticing a certain sensation over your stomach right here. Have you noticed any, pain or uncomfortable sensations in that area? It's, and if they say, yeah, you can be, oh yeah, it's probably a good idea just to go have that checked out. Maybe, when was the last time you had a checkup? Might be a good idea. Just take a look at that. Because you really don't know what's going on in there. And so you don't want to frighten anyone. So bedside manner is very, very important. Really think about how you communicate with your clients. Because we are working with energy. Our energy is part of working with energy. And so it's very important to keep our energy strong and clear and healthy. It's a really good practice to go outside between sessions when you're working with somebody or even with yourself and ground yourself. Go out, touch a tree, hug a tree, stand in the dirt, stand in the grass. Barefoot is great. Sometimes I'll just go outside and put my hands on the ground. Some of the people that work in the area around me probably think I'm weird because I walk out and stick my hands in the dirt multiple times of the day, but that's okay. And so washing your hands between clients, energetic hygiene is important. I feel like water helps to cleanse any incompatible energy from my hands. Water has minerals in it. It's very grounding and cleansing. Additionally, if you're working with people, you want to keep your hands clean anyway, as you're a healing practitioner. More physical cleanliness is good too. We don't want to share bacteria and viruses. So we also want to keep our energy nice and strong and clear. If we're working with other people in a healing modality, we don't want other people to feel icky around us. So if we're having a really bad day and crying, it might not be a good day for you to do energy healing. Maybe that day you need to take a mental health day and go home and do Reiki on yourself and get some extra rest and take care of yourself in the way that you feel you need to. So self-healing, we want to make sure we're doing our self-healings every day. We want to practice what we preach and be a good example for practical Reiki. So please do your work honestly. As Mikao Usui said, practice good ethics. So it's our job to represent practical Reiki in a professional way. So one of the goals Alice Langholtz, my master teacher, had for practical Reiki was to have it become more mainstream and more widely accepted in the mainstream. Initially, practical Reiki was called Kundalini Reiki, and the word Kundalini was off-putting by some people in the conventional medical realm, and they weren't open to learning more about that. So Alice changed the name to Practical Reiki, and just by changing, the word, that one word, they accepted that and they were interested. And so she was able to help get this into the hospitals and get some nurses attuned and trained. So really how we present the information, what we're doing makes a big difference. So you want to practice your elevator speech. It could be something along the lines of somebody asks you what Reiki is. You can say that it is a mainstream healing technique for pain relief, stress relief, and to expedite the body's healing processes. Boom. That's good. It's very simple and you got it all out there. You don't want to say something like, well, I see chakras and auras and I talk to angels and spirit guides and I heal people from these things. And people are going to look at you and go, okay, that's a little woo-woo for me. Some people will get really excited and they'll be talking to you all day about that. But for the most part, that might scare some people away. They're not going to look at you and say, okay, well, this sounds very professional. I'm very excited about this. So you want to be careful about the words you use. You want to use words that everybody can understand and not make it woo-woo. So you also want to walk the walk, how you act and how you treat yourself, and how your energy feels to other people. People pick up on that. People will feel that. So if you're doing your self-healings every day and you're taking good care of yourself, you're getting enough sleep, you're eating nutritious foods and drinking plenty of water, you're gonna feel good to people. People are gonna recognize that and they're gonna want some of what you got. So the better you take care of yourself, the more you are a living billboard, walking example of all the wonderful things that practical Reiki can do for you. Yeah, so here it is. Here's the elevator speech. Reiki is an energy therapy for pain relief, stress relief, and well-being. That is all you got to say. And people will start to ask questions. If you want to learn more about how to talk to Reiki to anyone, Dr. Alice Lincoltz has a class and an ebook on how to talk about Reiki to anyone. You can visit her website, Reiki Academy. I'm sorry, Reiki Awakening Academy.com, and you can check that out there. And that's something that I'm probably going to be doing myself. So I highly recommend it. All right, well, we've made it to the last slide here. I'm so excited for you because you've got so much magical, fun stuff in your future with Practical Reiki. If you are an in-person student, you will receive your attunement if you choose from me today. If you're doing this class online, your next step is going to be to complete your lesson feedback in attunement request form. Submit that. Once I receive it, I will set up your level 1 attunement. If this is going to be given to you at a distance, it will be cued, which means the attunement, just like a cued healing, is going to be set up and sent out to you and into your queue. And so I will be sending you instructions on how to receive that, but you already know what to do. Once you know that it's there, then you can sit in a quiet place, relax, and basically just say, I'm ready to receive the level 1 attunement sent by Hollie. And then just relax and notice what you feel. The attunement should take anywhere from 35 minutes. And then there will be a feedback request sent to you to fill out after your attunement. But once you have that attunement, you can start practicing your level 1 healings. So get out your workbook and start going through. You're going to be doing your self-healing every day for 30 days and hopefully beyond. And then you're going to be practicing your karmic band healing, the cleansing the room, distance healings, giving Reiki to your food, to your plants, your animals. So you've got a lot to work on until we see each other again. I would also like for you to read chapter 6 in your Practical Reiki book. So that way you'll be ready for the information in level 2. So I think that covers everything. So I'm excited to see you guys. I'm excited to hear all about the fun experiences you're about to have. Practice, 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 practice every day. Look for ways that you can use Reiki throughout your day. You can't OD on Reiki. So practice, 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 and Reiki on. Until next time. Bye-bye.